Now, if you are watching this video right now, there's a good chance you are thinking about signing up for a marathon. You've Googled it, you've tried to look around, ask some friends maybe what one you should sign up for, but there are so many options out there for you to choose from. Today we are going to talk about all of those details. We're going to talk about the terrain of the course. Are you in the mountains? Are you down at the beach, road, or trail? What time of year is it? What is the weather going to be like? And also, what are you training during? Are you signing up with a bunch of other runners? Is this going to be a packed race, or is it a smaller one where you're going to have space by yourself throughout the course? All of these things and more we're going to cover today. I want to make sure that you pick the best race for you. This is a huge bucket list item, and we want you to finish strong. Now, the first thing to consider when you're picking this race is what will the circumstances be on race day, and what will the circumstances be during your training? If you are going to be training in a polar opposite condition from what it will be like on race day, you want to be prepared for that. So here are a few examples. If you pick a race that is going to be super hilly, you're going to have a lot of elevation gain, you're going to have a lot of decline there, and you're going to have to climb a lot, but you live somewhere very flat. You want to make sure you're getting that climbing training in. So this could mean a lot of time indoors on the treadmill, working on that incline, or having to drive further to find areas where you can practice that hill training. Because if you don't prepare for that and then you show up on race day having to climb a bunch of hills, you will not be pleased with yourself. I will tell you that from experience. Next thing to consider, if you pick a race up at altitude, a lot of beautiful courses are up in the mountains. You're looking at 4,000 or 5,000 feet plus, and you're training at sea level, you're going to need to account for that. A few tips around acclimating or getting used to the feeling of being up at that level when you're not used to it is either getting there right before the race, and of course you won't actually be acclimated at this point, but you will feel decent if you show up just about a day before the race and just jump right into it, or if you are there for about a week before and race about 7 days later. Those two times are what I found to be the most successful for me feeling acclimated up at that altitude, even though my body isn't actually adjusted at that point. We don't really have the luxury of being able to get to a race a month before to really actually get used to breathing up there. Another note on this is adjust your expectations. So you can be training at paces along your marathon training. Each week you're getting faster, you're adjusting what you think will be your marathon training pace or marathon racing pace. Up in the thinner air up there, it is definitely going to be harder to breathe, and so you need to adjust expectations. It's not that you're worse at running up there, it just takes more effort to be that fast. Next thing to consider, are you picking a technical course, something maybe on the trails that's going to have a lot of things to step over and balance yourself on, but are you doing most of your training on the roads where there's nothing really to move around at that point? So you're going to need to figure out how you will feel balanced and stable on race day. A couple things you can do: you can work some basic ankle stability and strengthening exercises into your strength days during your training. We even have some videos on this on the channel you can check out. Or you can again find those trails around your area where you can go actually practice navigating and feeling confident, especially on the downhills on that course. Lastly, marathon training in general on average, I would say takes about 4 months for proper marathon training plan, especially if you're coming from nothing. And so oftentimes you'll be training in a climate different than what it will be on race day. So take seasons into account. If your race is taking place in the summer somewhere very hot, but you're training through the winter or the end of the winter, or you live somewhere cold, you're going to want to practice some heat training. So running in those extra layers, maybe traveling someplace for a weekend to get used to those hotter temperatures, all those things will help you best prepare for that race. Now I want to talk a little bit more about traveling to a race if you are choosing to make this more of a destination. One thing that is really important around this is that all this training and everything that you've gotten used to over the last couple months shouldn't be thrown away at a lack of planning on race day. So if you are traveling, a couple hours or by plane to get somewhere, you want to make sure that you've researched where you're going to and know how to get access to all of the food that you need, that your body's used to consuming, especially while you're running. You want to make sure that you get there early enough to get your sleep, to get acclimated, to actually get that shakeout run in and feel ready to go. And you just want to make sure that you are in a place of total mental clarity and you feel relaxed about being in a new place, but also tackling this first marathon, because there are going to be a lot of feelings and nerves going on as well. Of course, the last suggestion I have is you can always make this a little vacation. You can build this into a longer trip get that race done, and be able to enjoy or relax on a beach afterwards. You know, this can be a fun family thing. You'll get that support there, but you'll also get somewhere nice to celebrate at the end of that finish. Now, the New York City Marathon had 52,000 runners in it last year in 2018. I'm bringing that up to tell you that some of these races are giant, while others might be small and more local. Depending on the kind of person you are, you need to figure out if that many people around you for 26.2 miles is going to give you energy and fire you up, or if it's going to stress you out. There are going to be a lot of people around at races like that, a lot of energy, a lot of spectators, and so you need to consider this when you're signing up. On that note, a lot of those bigger races are super, super competitive to get into. Sometimes you have to be at your computer at an exact time on an exact day to get a shot at even entering. Maybe it's even just a lottery system where they only pick a certain number of people per day, per week. There are all different systems for how that race works, but you want to make sure that well in advance of signing up, you understand what their process is. On something smaller, you know, they'll allow entries up until a day before, but you want to make sure that you're aware of that so that you don't miss your opportunity on the race you've been dreaming of doing as your first marathon. Last few miscellaneous points I want to make about picking that first marathon. First one being, are there any training options when you sign up for that marathon? Some of these races have a little add-on where you can get a discounted training program or maybe a little assisted coaching if you don't have any direction there. I would be remiss if I didn't mention our awesome Run Experience training app. This is going to be completely full of programs and resources for you to get totally marathon ready. We have a marathon training program that I have seen work for so many people and so many runners out there. We include everything from strength training to, of course, your running, as well as mobility and injury prevention to keep you healthy along the way. And of course, that community aspect of having all the other runners in our training programs there to support you along the way. Lastly, guys, you're signing up for this race, you're paying the money, you want to just check out and see if they have cool swag. Is the medal cool from past years? Do they give out a neat shirt at the end? What is it? I actually brought a couple of my medals to show you guys a few of my favorites. This one is from Antelope Canyon that I did in Arizona. Morgan's going to zoom in so you guys can see. The Big Sur Marathon is a destination one that me and my dad have run several years in a row, and theirs is awesome. It's this little, I don't even know, maybe clay is what it's made out of. They change the color every year, which is awesome. So I have a bunch like that. And then, of course, we're in San Francisco, so I have to show you guys what the San Francisco Marathon medal looks like. There it is. There's so many awesome ones out there. I think it makes that finish feel that much better. So do your research, check those things out. Guys, I can speak from personal experience that finishing your first marathon is unlike any other life event. It is so, so incredible of a feeling to know that you put all this work into training and pushing through and persevering on days you didn't feel like it. Also, you could come out strong at that finish. So do your research, use these tips, I hope they helped, and pick a race that you're going to be proud to finish. I know you guys can do it. You are going to be able to join that group of exclusive people who have finished a marathon out in the world. It is a really fun group to be a part of. Guys, again, if you have not yet found a training resource or what you're going to use to get ready for this marathon, I highly recommend a program that's going to hold you accountable all the way through that training. We have an awesome mobile app, like I mentioned before, the Run Experience. You can click the link down in the description and you'll have access to all of our resources there. When you're a premium member, you can actually sign up for that marathon training program through us and you can be walked all the way through those 4 months of training. If you liked this video, give that thumbs up down below. Any comments or questions you have for me around picking the right race, if you want any personal recommendations from some of my favorite marathons, I'm happy to drop those there. And subscribe to the channel. We have all new videos coming out every week and on all different topics to help you with your running and your training in general. Thanks again for watching, guys. I will catch you in the next video. It was so good. What am I talking about? Let me fix that.